the organizers. I think Astronomy on Tap is already kind of an issue in terms of public outreach here in Leiden. And I'm very pleased to be here. It's my first time that I'm on this stage. And actually, it's the first time that I'm giving a talk in a bar in Leiden. So exciting. And also, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. It's quite cold outside. And nevertheless, I think we're going to have an interesting evening. And it's because, dear colleagues, we are here today for a quite important event. We are here at a general meeting, extraordinary general meeting, and I'll need the help of all of you in the things that will happen tonight. We have a meeting of the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of the Outer Space. And this is the first time that this meeting is happening outside Vienna, Austria, and by chance it's here in Leiden. And I can see many familiar faces, and many of you are from different countries, different nations, different communities, different towns. So I'd like you to represent those communities, those towns, and those cities today. We have two agenda points. One is about exploration, and the other one is about communication. And without further ado, I declare this meeting open, and we're going to start discussing the first point. And the first point is about mining. It's about mineral exploration. We just received a request from the Space Agency of the Kingdom of Moldavia requesting authorization to this committee to initiate mineral exploration of asteroids in the solar system. Our colleagues from Moldavia, they want to start mining asteroids. Start with that. Well, as we all know, because this is almost 2 years that we have Astronomy on Tap, so by now we know that asteroids are small bodies in our solar system. The sizes are very different. Some of them can have a couple of meters, but can go up to 1,000 kilometers. That is the largest asteroid that we have in our solar system. So pretty much there are pieces of rock, small celestial bodies, solar system, are in between Mars and Jupiter, and most of them are very rich in very specific minerals that I think you can recognize from that list, that some of them are very rare on Earth, and many of them have been also exploited in the mines in our own planet. But the country wants to start exploring, mining these asteroids to get some of these minerals. Gold, platinum, iron, nickel, aluminum, so several different minerals. Just a bit of technical information, just to give you a sense that these things are possible. This September, the Japanese Space Agency, JAXA, managed to land a spacecraft called Hayabusa 2 on the surface of an asteroid. This was done in September, so the technology is there. However, we need to keep in mind that mining, even on Earth, can create some issues, environmental issues, health issues, and we know that mining is essential for our economy. At the same time, there's also very strong implications, environment, health, and in the communities. So with this in mind, I'd like you to consider the following. Technology for extraction of minerals in asteroids is available. We have needs for some of these raw materials on Earth. There's ethical issues of exploring the soil of another body of the solar system, and also taking consideration the environmental issues associated with mining. I would like to start a discussion about if we should or we should not authorize Moldavia's government to mine asteroids in the solar system. So I would like that in groups of 3, 4 people, 5, 6 if you want, we open for discussion internally between you guys, and I would like you to exchange your views on this. And I'll show the previous slide so we have more information, and then we'll move from there. I'll give like 4 minutes for you guys to discuss with your colleagues that are nearby you. So I'll just leave this slide so you have some pointers for the discussion. Dear colleagues, I hope that you reached some conclusions. So now I would like to hear some arguments. First, against. Who would like to share their arguments against the authorization of mining asteroids? Anyone?
We assume that to bring back all the minerals from the asteroid needs enormous quantity of energy and fuel to bring back 100 kilograms, thousands of kilograms towards the Earth. You probably have to bring the fuel from Earth with current technology. So how much fuel you need to bring the fuel to the asteroid to then bring back? Is it good for the environment of the Earth? Will we take all of the resources we have on Earth just for that to bring back some kilograms of minerals?
I guess that's a very good argument, because of course it's up to the country to decide if they have the technology and the resources to do it or not. But as we know, we might need some specific use of specific fuel to go to this asteroid, and that will have an influence on the rest of the planet. And that, I think, is a very valid point to consider in authorizing or not this country on mining an asteroid. More arguments against. Oh, there's two more.
I don't have an argument against mine.
Wait for the microphone, I think we are recording.
I have a request for information, which is, when do you think this would be economically interesting? My immediate guess is not for the next 200 years.
So let me say that we don't have that information. I think what we are discussing here today is the authorization to a country to initiate their own operations if they want to. So I think it's not up to us to decide if they have the technology or not. That's up to them.
But I think that's a moot point, because I don't think it would be interesting for anybody.
So, but why don't you think it's going to be interesting for?
Because I think the cost of, even if these asteroids were covered with diamonds, it would not be worth sending spacecraft to them. You know, the cost of the mission you described is $1 billion.
Yeah.
And to get one that would go there and come, it probably can only bring back maybe a kilo.
That, I think, would be up to the country to decide if it's
Yeah,
worth or not.
my main point is that if it costs $100 million to bring back a kilo of gold, it's not an issue. Nobody's going to do it.
People are paying millions of euros just to go to space, just for the sake of it, just as space tourists. So maybe just to prove that the technology concept could be interesting. But I think it's an argument to keep in mind for, against, there was...
There's always a question of safety, because you can't be 100% sure that there is no life present on the asteroid, for example.
The contamination aspect of
Exactly.
that, if you can contaminate bringing back some of the raw materials, what can be, I think it's a possibility. Yeah. One more in the back. There's another one here.
One concern is related about the political impact, because if we authorize them to reach an asteroid and start mining, they could consider that that asteroid belongs to them, the whole asteroid belt belongs to them. We need treaties to the management of space resources, I think, just like for the South Pole treaties.
I think you have a very, very good point, and actually it's this particular committee that should decide on those treaties. If a company reaches that asteroid or a celestial body, it can claim rights on ownership over it or not. And that's a very valid question that we should maybe discuss in another meeting. There's another point?
I was wondering whether the mining will be done in situ, or if you bring the entire asteroid close to Earth and mine it. And then that would be a potential problem, because if you miss, you might
That's a very, very valid, maybe should be one of the points if you authorize that what is kind of the technique that they'll be using. But I think they'll be looking at both techniques. One of them is in situ, do the mining and then bring the raw material, the materials that they need, the minerals. Another one, as we can see, the asteroids have different sizes. So for small ones, they might capture the asteroid and bring the asteroid back and do all the processing and all the mining here on Earth. And that's a good point. But I think both would be things to consider in the authorization or not.
There was actually an American mission trying to bring an asteroid around the moon at some point. I think they scrapped it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more another proof that we have the technology to do these things. So I think now is the time to discuss it. So I'd like now to get some arguments in favor. Don't be shy, I know there's a lot of people against, but I'm sure that some of you think that it's a good thing to have. Any favor? Any arguments in favor? Oh, there's one.
Just that if it is economically viable and it's not going to, you can prove that, say, on that asteroid there is no life there and it's not going to, I don't know, adversely affect the trajectory of a person collides or something else there, then why not?
Yeah,
I mean, you're then taking that away from Earth where we've got problems already from mining. And if you can then take that away from Earth,
I think you're very good argument because you know that mining on Earth sometimes has a very very impact on communities on health, and maybe if you mine somewhere, you will not have that impact. It could be a much more cleaner version of the Earth mining, and it could be a very argument to authorize this mining. More arguments in favor? It's good to have two opinions.
I actually talked a bit about this a while ago. So,
That's why you are in this committee.
if you manage to find fuel on these asteroids, that would be incredible because you could have fuel quite away from Earth, so you could make exploration of the outer solar system a lot more easy.
That's also
Because you
another
don't need
argument.
to bring the fuel from Earth.
Yeah, that's a good argument. There's also people in the other room. I don't know if they want to. I think they are too shy. I'm just observers of this meeting.
Well, so we discussed it a bit from a different point of view, because I mean, as a committee, we were asked to if we allow it or not. And I guess the idea was from us that if we can set rules, what they need to do, or how we can really allow someone to mine an asteroid, then we just should give license to everybody who wants to. If we can say, well, only mine 25% of an asteroid, or only this and this material. I mean, we wouldn't be there where we are now if we wouldn't go for mining, and why not expand it to the universe? And on the other hand, I mean, if we have the technology to do it, how should we stop them? I mean, we cannot set an enterprise to shoot them down, so...
Space Force.
What's the point? Yeah, but then only the Americans can shoot it down.
Maybe the United Nations will help its Space Force. But those are very good points, and I think the discussion today is to authorize this particular country and not the other countries. But I think there's another discussion point if we should then open to any country to exploit these asteroids or not. More arguments, that's really like.
So this also provides an economic incentive, assuming it is going to be economically viable for private companies to sponsor missions to asteroids, thereby bringing in more money to do science. So currently we just rely on government funding, and think in general for science, incoming private money can actually be a good thing.
So that's an argument in favor that can even
it gives them a reason to invest more in science.
like a financial incentive for companies to even further develop their technology.
Yeah.
So to open up the market a bit more into the mining exploration or exploitation. More arguments?
Yeah, so I think purely from a technological advancement point of view, I think it's good to have these missions. But I don't think at this stage we understand the kind of impact that it would have on global markets, for example. Because if you're actually running out of a specific resource which is very important for your technological advancement, then it makes sense to look for it somewhere else. But the problem with a single country doing this is they sort of, because they're inherently rich and technologically advanced, they have an unfair monopoly over this resource because they have some extra technological advancements at their disposal. So I think if it's not like we should not allow this, but if it is sort of the markets are properly regulated and the profits are capped, and the company who's bringing this, or the country who's bringing this in, equally ensures that it's equally distributed amongst all the interested parties in the world, then I think it can solve a lot of problems.
That's a very good point about as let's say, humanity can benefit, and not only a very specific country. I think that's a very valid concern, and I see that it's a positive, or I'm in favor, but at the same time, it's some concerns and limitations. There's one last, there's one last in favor argument, or a couple of arguments.
So, my argument is a little bit pessimistic.
So it's against.
I don't know, it's in favor. Okay. I think we should let them do it because we cannot do otherwise.
We cannot, sorry?
Do otherwise.
Otherwise, we have to do it.
Yes, but what's the reason? It's a kingdom. They're going to do it no matter what we tell them. And if we let them do it, we can set some rules. But if we don't, they might just go and do it anyway. Yes. So
I think that argument goes to any democratic country, not necessarily kingdoms. I can imagine some countries that are kingdoms that will be able to do it as well.
Well, I would like to stay in the political regime thing, but anyhow, it's a matter of time. Somebody will do it. So we need to set rules and early and make ways somehow to enforce the rules, which is hard because it's fast, so, you know.
Absolutely. So that's in connection with some of the points.
Yeah.
So let's go back. And I guess we have already a lot of arguments, and I think was paying attention to the arguments from the different colleagues and different views on the topic. So I think the question is, should we authorize the Moldavia's government to mine asteroids in the solar system? Who is in favor of this mining? Please raise their arms. So can we have a count? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19. So I think we have 23 that they are in favor. Who votes against? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Liz, do you have 30? So we are not authorizing the government Moldavia to mine asteroids in the solar system. It was a close call, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Next topic is the last item in our agenda. And as you may or may not remember, the topic was communication. So besides the exomoon that Liz mentioned, we also have some breaking news and because of that, we have an important topic to discuss here today. The Search for Extraterrestrial Life Institute has detected a signal that might have been sent by an extraterrestrial life from a nearby exoplanet. It's coming from a system of exoplanets called TRAPPIST-1, which is a quite well-known exoplanet system confirmed very recently by an international team of astronomers using different telescopes. And this signal is coming from this exoplanet system. And as you know, exoplanets are planets outside our solar system. So they are planets orbiting other stars that is not our own star, the Sun. However, we don't have any proof that this message or this signal that is coming from this particular exoplanet is meant for us. We just detected with radio telescopes, but we are not sure if this is meant for us as a signal, as a message, but I think it's important that we discuss it here today. An international team of astronomers, together with different people, have been analyzing this signal for the last 24 hours. We can now present the signal that we have received, and it's a matter of extremely urgency, so we need to make a decision today about some important points. This is the detected signal, and that was received by the radio telescopes of the Institute, of the SETI Institute, so we still don't know what it means. And maybe we have some experts here in linguistics or communication or even astronomy and might have to give an attempt to try to decipher this signal. Who would like to give it a try? Any experts in linguistics in the committee? As well? There's... This is the processed signal. We received radio waves, and then through the convolution, Liz was part of the international team. We managed to get this picture, the graphical representation of the signal. It's here. So this is the already after some of the processing.
Can I associate some meaning with the two dimensions?
You can. Yes. Okay. It's up to you.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to give it a try to see? No. Anyone? Do we have a colleague here? Oh, there's. And then we go there.
I think they're watching Game of Thrones.
They're watching Game of Thrones. Might, right? They might have received our signal from our TV stations, and now they are kind of sending a signal back. There's another one here. Sorry, Liz, it's not.
So I think it's an image of an animal biting its own tail. So clearly they have intelligent life and they have animals.
Animal, like a snake type of thing?
Yeah.
So there is a representation of an animal from their own world, or maybe is this animal that is the one providing the message?
Yeah.
Okay, any other? No? Okay. No, that we are pretty sure that is not. This has some meaning. This is not from noise level. This is not coming from noise, not random signal. We know that this has the origin that was created signal. We know that is not noise. That we know. No, now we need to try to see if it has a meaning or not. But that's not important. But that's an important point. We get to there. Because I think there's something here to discuss. We receive a signal from an extraterrestrial civilization, and now we have to decide if we send a signal back. We send a message back to them with an answer to this. You know if it's a question? However, we need to decide if we should answer or not to this signal. We need to keep in mind a few things. Some of them are quite important. Stephen Hawking in 2017 already warned us that it might be quite dangerous to engage in a conversation with extraterrestrial life, even to contact them. Pretty much he said that meeting an advanced civilization could be like meeting Americans in country Columbus. That didn't turn out so well, as we know. And this was part of a series of talks that he gave in 2017, and he really was warning us that Earth we should be concerned about contacting extraterrestrials. So the point that we have here to discuss today is the following. Considering that the signal that we received originates from a confirmed extraterrestrial planetary system, there's exoplanets there, so we know that they might harbor life. We know they might. That signal seems to be sent by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization because they have the capability to send a signal, so they have the technology to do it. So it might mean that they are advanced, but there's a danger that the violent civilization can, if we send a signal back, can locate us and maybe attack us. So the question that we have for this committee today is, should we send a message back to this planetary system? Once again, I'd like you to have some discussions in groups. And then we're going to have a plenary discussion. It's now time. Yeah, okay. Dear colleagues, I think now it's time to have an open discussion with arguments against and in favor of sending a signal back to these exoplanets. Who would like to start with some arguments against?
I would say that before sending back a message, the first thing to do would be like decrypt what they sent, because otherwise we can't send something back while risking some kind of diplomatic incident, because we don't know how they communicate. So yeah, I think we don't send something unless we can decrypt it and translate what we want to send it back in their language. Yeah, that would be my vote.
You'll be in favor of trying to decipher or trying to find the meaning of that signal, and then trying to create a message and send it back in their own language so they can understand. Yeah, that would be. We might never know, right, what that means. There'll be always that question. It's okay with you. Okay. Yes.
I would consider Stephen Hawking as an expert outside of this committee who is not here anymore, and would consider his opinion with his experience and
Okay, so your argument is that we need to maybe some experts, and we already have an opinion of one. Unfortunately, you cannot give an opinion for this particular case, but it was against maybe engaging in a conversation or dialogue with the stress of life, and you follow his advice forever. Some arguments, other arguments against?
Yes, I think there's only a very limited amount of information that we can get out of one message. So I think the sensible thing to do is to see if we can pick up more messages. Over the course of receiving several messages, try to understand what the message is saying.
So in your case, I think you say that we should wait for more messages if they come. And should we wait 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 1 week?
I think since TRAPPIST-1 is like 40 light years
away, yeah.
So it's going to take 40 years for our answer to get back there. So I don't think we need to rush into a decision.
All the time. So it's for the next generations to decide if they want to send it or not.
Yes, yeah. I think because if we just send back a copy of the message we sent, we're just responding in rote. I don't think that will actually achieve anything other than just saying here we are. Yeah.
So just to give you a feeling, the signal is coming from a planetary system, exoplanet, that are 40 light years away. So this message that reached us a couple of 24 hours ago took 40 to get here. So when we send our message back, it will take another 40 years to get there. But that's our impression, that they might have technology to travel in space and try and attack us immediately after. So we don't know. So we need to be careful about that.
They're already communicating by radio, and the technology can't be that much.
This was the signal that we received. Yeah, we don't know much more about this civilization. We have to assume everything. But it is possible that they are communicating. This is a radio signal. This. We go back there.
Again, partially against, because my argument is in favor of waiting for some time, because probably also I don't think the political scenario on Earth itself is very optimistic at the moment, and I think we should wait to unite ourselves and be able to deal with such an eventuality, because we have no unity, and we need to actually gather means to do that. So wait for some time. That's it for the next time.
That's a very good point. There was one.
Yeah. Yeah, to add to the point that we were thinking that not just to decode the signal, but to actually find out more about the planetary system that they live on and see if there's actually anything that's worth for us to even make the effort to send the signal back. Because if there's not really anything that we could get out of it, why bother?
Curiosity is not enough?
No. It's too dangerous.
Too dangerous. Very good. There's another.
Yeah, in light of this new signal, I think I want to change my vote on Soldavia and tell them to mine the asteroid and build a space force.
Space Force. It will not change that vote. That's maybe the next meeting.
My question actually is like, are we obliged to answer them? And for what I know is that for the last 40, 50 years, we as a human being, we were broadcasting so much messages for the outside solars, and we didn't get any messages back. So
maybe this is the answer.
I mean, it took like 40 years long actually, or 40 like this. So I mean,
actually, we have some messages. We sent message more or less around this time. So maybe this. Then we have waited more time. So we don't know.
So actually, we are the same technology.
Maybe we are the same technology level.
So let's send the message back again, and we will see like what will happen.
Good. No, I think it's a very, very valid point. We get to there, but I think it's very. Okay, maybe some arguments in favor, so to not sound so pessimistic.
So I would say it would be pretty unpolite to not respond. If the telephone rings, you pick up, and I mean, this telephone never rang before, so I think you should do it. And like always, when you pick up the phone, you just say hello in your language, and I will just send the hello back. I mean, they can figure out how to talk to us. That's how we do it always. So, yeah.
Let's be polite and attention, right? Good one. I think there was favor. It has a kind of already kind of different the back and the front divide.
So if they were more advanced and they could have been here in like a day, they would already be here.
No,
so I mean, they know we're here.
No, they don't. No, that's an important point. It's not clear that this message is for us. This was a message they broadcast and we received it. So I'm a bit concerned that if we send a signal, they will know what's the source of that signal, and they will be able to localize the signal source and they can come and attack us. That's what I'm concerned about. But they don't know that we are here, it seems.
We've already been sending signals.
We don't know if they received them or not. But I think it's a good point, and it's a good point to keep in mind.
My point again it's about the political climate, but just now we're not very united, but what better way to unite a species and saying that, there's someone else out there, and in an optimistic view, why would we not want to extend the hand first and try and make, the most peaceful agreement with another species out there?
So I think the argument here is pro-communication, and we should take this as an opportunity to unite our planets and the different nations, and use this as a very good opportunity to kind of reach a world peace. And now is the right time to do it, so we should try to send a signal back. I think it's a very, very good point.
We are all fighting the same enemy, which is entropy, and therefore it makes sense to find combined intelligence and see if we can combat entropy better together.
So your argument is that we should get together and attack that?
Entropy, basically. Yeah. So there's a limited amount of energy here, and they would not communicate if they would not believe that by communicating they would be better able to use the limited amount of entropy that's available in the time, since they're a more advanced civilization.
we don't know if they're more advanced, but like some colleagues already said, I think that they have more or less the same technology that we have at the moment. It seems, at least from the message, that they are able to send signals like we are, and we don't know much more than that. So that's a big question that we have that we need to decide. There were some more ideas.
But I also think we are making some basic assumptions here, and that is that there is the danger of this external civilization. And I don't know how much of that is informed by, say, media, that there are scary, violent aliens, but actually maybe they are not.
So, but I guess the argument that we had here is very valid, right? We know that every time that there was encounter with different civilizations on Earth, that didn't go well. Pretty much in every single encounter. So we are kind of using our history to tell us that maybe encountering another civilization from whatever form they have might not go well as well. It's like using history to kind of give us some advice on what to do and what should not do. So, but you're right, it's a point to have. Maybe they're very peaceful.
Just a thought. So, if we're really scared of them colonizing us, maybe send it from another place, maybe Jupiter, and then see what happens there in a couple of years.
That's a very good point. So let's send a spacecraft to Jupiter and send the signal to there. There's a problem with that too. I think if we localize our solar system, we might have the technology to detect that we are a planetary system and start tracking the other planets and find that the other planet like us is the one actually with life. And they might say, oh, it's much more interesting to go there. So I think we need to go really far away. That will take a long time. So we need to decide. It's a good point. Let's make an experiment and do it from somewhere else. From our neighbors. Let's see what happens to our neighbors. Just from our country. I think it's an interesting thought. Yes?
I'm trying, okay. I just have a small comment relating to the assumption that they might be the same level of advancement, technological advancements as we are. As we know, we've only recently, I mean, in cosmological terms, just now, became able to send and receive radio signals. It's about, 100 years now? Well, 150 maybe. So, if you compare this to the age of the solar system or even the age of the universe, that's practically insignificant. So I think it would be a safe assumption to believe that their civilization is likely to be more advanced.
They are not far away from us in that cosmological scale that you are talking. 40 light years away, it's pretty much our neighbors. They are in our galaxy. We might have the same time, evolution time, might be very similar. So I think it's something to take into consideration. I think in terms of the evolution time, it might be at the same level as us.
What I'm trying to say is that even 100 or 1,000 years difference can make a big difference.
Of course. There was some more arguments.
My point is, I do not agree to send a reply back because, in my opinion, is not a message designed for a first contact. It is a complex cliff. It's not a scheme designed on the lowest communication level. So it's not something designed to contact another civilization from one planet.
That's based on the signal that we receive. Yeah.
It's a circle. If I suppose I want to contact another civilization to establish a first contact, I will send something like a receivable signal or the belief of a triangle with the Pythagorean theorem or a circle with a square inside. It's a completely different symbol. It's not a simple symbol. It's a complex glyph.
That's a very anthropocentric view of messages. I think but I think it's very much based on our knowledge and assuming that it's too simple of a message. It's almost like saying, oh, we didn't write left to right, the right to left. I don't know if that could be an argument.
Yes, but if you want to. Yeah, okay. No, I agree that probably it sounds anthropocentric, but if you have to contact another civilization, you should start with a simple concept, such as a sequence of prime numbers, or such as a Euclidean image. Okay, assuming that other ideas could be so Euclidean space, but math is a universal language. You should start with that, or series.
But maybe it's too early to really try to give the meaning to this. I think we need more time to look into this, because there are different dimensions here. There are different thickness that we can go with the pixel scale to try to see what kind of, how many pixels we have across. There's ramifications, there's different patterns. I think there's a lot of information in there that could have a quite complex message. And this is coming from someone that doesn't say anything from linguistics. But I think it's too early to decide. There was one more, so we have two more and then we go for a vote. Here, the third row. Colleagues?
I just don't know how to explain my feeling. I'm sorry. There was another comment. Can I just think about it more?
Who wanted to give a comment?
There was someone? Okay. So the two last ones.
So basically my question is whether we should send and ask them whether they're destroying their own planet and whether they're facing global warming themselves. So if 40 years is the time limit then, and we don't have that much time to exchange, I don't know, maybe 5-6 emails.
So pretty much you are saying that they might be our saviors. Maybe they have the answers that we have for our global challenges. So just have to wait maybe 80 years. Last comment.
So I will start with a question. Do we assume that we say to the general public that we have received a message from extraterrestrials, or do we keep it secret in like some scientific people and the council?
We did distribute it. I think it's a question, it's not a question for discussion today, but I think it's about a question we should keep it a secret until we know the meaning, and then we can decide, or not, or maybe if we release this, we can get help from the public to get the meaning, but we can get other experts. So I think we need to decide it, but maybe let's not discuss this today.
Hey, but what I mean, if we have sent that to the public, if I copy the argument from the first point, somebody in humanity will respond to them even if we don't want it, because a lot of people have the technology to respond. So if we make the assumption that we have said, oh, I didn't contact this, somebody will reply, it's better that we choose the correct reply rather than a random reply from anybody.
So let's do that. Let's go for a vote. Decide if we want to reply or not. So, who is in favor of sending a message? Please vote. Please cast your votes. We have 37 votes in favor. Let's see, and now please cast your vote if you are against sending a signal. So we have 23 votes against, so we are sending the signal. Now, we need. We are sending a signal, so the next question is, which message should we, as Earth, send back? And going to the point that some of our colleagues already mentioned, we have been trying to communicate with extraterrestrial life in the past. Just to give you some examples of these messages that we sent back. In 1972, in one of the spacecrafts that we sent to the outer solar system, we had a plate with basic information about humans, a very Western view of humans, our solar system, our location, and other information about basic physics and basic mathematics. The same happened in 1974. The radio telescope Arecibo sent a radio signal, providing even information about the radio telescope, humans, some of our numbers, some basic information about DNA. There was a lot of information within this message. And this was sent in 1974. So the message we received might be something similar to this one. Also, the Voyager mission had what we call a golden disk with a lot of information recorded in this disk, and also provide information about our location, Earth, and a lot of different information that was recorded in this disk that was sent in 1977. So now I would like to ask the committee to decide about a few points, a few things that we should send back, what kind of message we should include. So now is open to discussion. Who would like to suggest a few things to send back on this message? Discussion, 2 minutes of discussion, it's fine. We can have an open discussion. So we're going to have 2 minutes so you discuss in groups what kind of message we should send. Discussing about the message, but I'd like to start composing this email to send back. So, we have some ideas for the content. This is the most important reply.
Good. So we think that since they were able to send us an image, a message that we were able to interpret as a picture, that they must have technology to be able to interpret the message we send back into a picture. So we should send something similar to the Pioneer plaque that we've already sent before. Just an image representing humanity and our understanding of science.
So pretty much forward that message that we created for the Voyager, maybe updated with a few more information we have now, and then send the same type of information. That's an easy answer. It's a template. We already a template to reply.
Hi again. So I would go for a basic form, just send one slide, like just one, a single one, just to say, okay, we got the message, we received it, I guess that should be enough actually. And then we can have a conversation. We should just show that if it was for us, then I guess saying yes, hello, that's a perfect reply.
You would go for a very simple message, just to say, yeah, we got it, here is our answer. Not too much information, so just in case.
You can open it, just in case.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna link it with what I said before, and I'm gonna say that we should send an SOS message that our planet is being threatened because of our doings. So we should ask whether they
just more scope. SOS.
literally.
Seems kind of neat.
So, as with Tinder, I would open with a joke. We could try to figure out.
What's your joke on Tinder? I'm kidding.
Like, it would be tough to send a joke as we don't know what language they speak, but we can do something like a very complex series of numbers, or not a complex, like we can send a lot of prime numbers and then just make a stupid mistake in the beginning. So they notice, like, okay, if you're smart enough to know what prime numbers are, then they send, yeah, a stupid mistake or whatever.
That would be a fun Tinder profile. So let's do that. Anyone?
If we assume that that was then reaching out to us, could we send the same signal back to them?
What if thinking it was just reflecting back, bouncing back the same signal? They will like touch something that reflects back.
Surely we could send it a lot stronger than just a reflection of Earth, and they know from where it is.
Okay.
But, yeah, we could add something on the end. We could add, say, like the pioneer plaque or whatever onto it. So at the start we say, well, you know, we've got this, we sent it back to you, and here's some additional information.
Okay, so say, just to provide context. Like when you provide these quotes on emails, you provide their email and then you suggest something else. Could be a way. So, last two.
I think we are really scared from them, so we should also send a scary message to them and tell them like, yo, we are not scared, we are also advanced in technology.
We also have a weapon.
I mean, like, to be honest, we're all scared from them, so we should do the same, tell them like, we are also strong.
Show that we are strong, are we? Good. So 1 year, and then I know that someone is actually writing a message, so we might get that message.
Apart from the usual prime numbers, I would try to send possible quantum entangled stream of bits back, so they can actually, at the other side, try to communicate in more or less instantly with us, if that is possible. Otherwise, we have 40 years to figure out how to do it.
Good one. Maybe, I know that the group was actually writing a message. Do you want to come and show your message?
I know you say math is universal language, but I think emoji language.
So the idea is to send a smile back and emoji back. Okay, it's a circle as well, so in a way, very much connected. You might understand this message.
It's a friendly message.
It's a friendly message. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we reached two important conclusions today. Mining and communication, we are sending this message back. As you can imagine, the meeting today, there was a lot of facts and fiction. Some of the facts are that there is a committee called United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space, and some colleagues here mentioned this
outer space treaty, that we should have a treaty in terms of the exploration of the outer space, and actually the United Nations Committee is in charge of writing, approving, and having that treaty. If you need more information about that, they have their website. They are based in Vienna, in Austria, and they deal with a lot of topics called space policy, space politics, and space law. Actually, here at Leiden University, at the Faculty of Law, there's a group that deals with space law, where they really think about the things that we discuss here today. So it's very much connected with its own city. A few things that they are not real. Of course, there's no kingdom of Sildavia. It only exists in fiction, of the very famous books from Hergé Anton. And actually they have a space agency. It's the one that sends the rocket to the moon, the famous book Destination Moon. Hayabusa 2 is a real mission from the Japanese space agency, JAXA. They did manage to land on an asteroid, and the whole mission is actually to bring a sample of the asteroid back to Earth so we can analyze their data. There is a country that approved a law to authorize mining of asteroids. That was Luxembourg, and here, this was done last year, and they had a parliamentary vote in favor of an asteroid mining law that gives companies the ownership of what they extract from celestial bodies. This is the second. The United States did it in 2015 under Obama administration. And they taken advantage of a loophole that exists in the Treaty of the United Nations, that no one can own celestial bodies, not even the moon, but they can extract things from these bodies, and they own what they extract. So that is possible. So the law exists and authorizes companies to do it. There's also these telescopes from the Satellite Institute, the Allen telescopes based in California, that they are constantly listening to the universe to try to get the signal from extraterrestrial life. So this is also real. There's scientific institutions that are listening, trying to get the signal from some extraterrestrial civilization. Of course, the exoplanets, we also know thousands of them by now, and that exoplanet system practice does exist. Both Voyager, the Pioneer, and the receiver message, they are also real. We humans have been trying to send signals to the outer space to show that we are here, that we exist, that there's a civilization here on this planet, the planet Earth. The message is not real, but is from a very famous and highly recommended movie called Arrival from 2016. And that message that you actually saw that we received means human, in the language that the aliens in this movie communicate. They manage to have a communication with humans, and it's a very interesting movie, much more about linguistics and space exploration, and it's highly recommended. Well, thank you all for this incredible evening. I had a great time, and I learned a lot of different views about space exploration, communicating with aliens, and thank you for coming in such a cold evening. Thank you.